So, wineberries. I'm gonna make jelly. These aren't seedy, so I could honestly make it into like jam. But I like to take no seedies in it and make it jelly. So, anyhow, wineberry jelly. 4 cups of berries is where you start at. Alright, I got the 4 cups in here, and next is 4 cups of water, and then they will boil together for 20 minutes to make the berry juice. This is just lightly mashed. It was like a tater masher, and it will make the juice that we will then use to make the jelly. 4 cups of water. It's cooking on high medium-ish. And then as you're doing it, you just mash it intermittently, periodically, whatever the word you want to see. So occasionally. Whatever. Mash it up. Press out the juice as best you can. And this is 20 minutes or so of cook time. While the jelly or the juice is making, I got the hot water bath canner going, and I've got jars down into the oven to preheat down there. Yeah, I'm lazy. I didn't take my cast iron out. Anyhow, that way it's a hot pack. It'll be hot jelly into hot jars into a hot canner. So with that, I'm just going to wait. We got about 8 more minutes to go. But you can see how broke up everything is in here now. Ain't really got much in the full berry size anymore. Okay, so the berries are done. And I've got this here sieve thing. And I'll pour the berries and the juice down through here. And it'll strain it out. And be caught down here in this glass bowl. Make sure you got a bowl down there to catch your stuff, or you're just in trouble. Because you ain't going to have nothing then. I'm going to use this cheesecloth. Usually I put it on the inside of my sieve, but I really seem to have lost a lot of juice last time I done that. So I'm going to do it on the outside and see if that helps. Hold on, one-handed here. Okay, like so. It's just going to see, that way it don't catch all of everything on the inside of it. But it'll keep extra pulp and stuff from coming down here into my bowl. Hold on, I got a couple of things that fell into my bowl here. Okay. Anyhow, let's get her dumped. Okay, this is very, very hot. Hopefully I don't splash the crap out of myself. You can see it mostly appears to be juice coming out. Berry is all pulped up in there pretty good. There we go, and there's the juice down in there, and I'll squeeze it out here. Sieve comes with this here stick, so you just kind of give it the extra push and wait, get it out, get as much juice as we can. If we have more than it's called for, then that's great. Just save it for the next batch. If you don't, you might have to add a little bit of water, but we'll see what we got once I get it all strained out. And this will go to the chickens. No waste that away, saves on feed costs, and the chickens love me for it. So it's a win-win. Anyhow, I'm going to let it strain out a little bit more, see how much more I can get. Okay, I'm going to need 3 3/4 cups of the berry juice. I should be good. And then 4 1/2 cups sugar, which you should have made and set aside. I am distracted and do not, so while it's finished straining, I'm going to go ahead and measure out my sugar. Alright. So for berry season, we buy the big old bags of sugar that you can get. This is just regular old everyday granulated sugar. And it takes 4 1/2 cups for this batch. So, you know, you're thinking, oh, yay, it's berries, it's so good for you. It is good, but it's got a lot of sugar in it. As far as a lower sugar recipe, wineberries would not do well because they cook up so much. So with that, I'm going to finish this out. That's 3 cups. I got 1 1/2 more to go. Okay, I said don't mind my mess. I got about 42,000 projects happening at the moment in my kitchen. But I've pushed and strained it the best I could. It makes a real pretty color down there. So let's get it measured out here. Generally, I would just dump it in, but seeing as how I have a bowl that doesn't pour well, I'm just going to scoop it into this here, which is a measuring cup. So I'll know where I'm at. But I'm going to get 3 3/4 cups here. Okay, so that's around about 3 3/4 cups here. I don't actually have a 3/4 thing, so we're just going to guesstimate it to be close. And I still have this much left in here. Less than a cup. Maybe a cup, I don't know. Anyhow, like I said, those berries are super juicy there. So that'll be saved for the next batch. This batch will go into the pan to be started with the jelly. Alright, so it calls for pectin. This is a thickener. You can use any brand. This is like the most average brand that you find at the stores and stuff like that. It's the white powder. You put it in there. And it needs to cook for at least 1 minute at a full boil before I add the sugar. If I don't, it like kills the thickening part of the pectin. So with that, I'll put this in there. It'll start cooking, and then I'll boil it for at least 1 minute, and then I'll add the sugar, and then we'll cook again. Okay. Add the 3 3/4 cups of juice. It's a very pretty color. Add the pectin, which is like a white powder here. It's on high, and then you just stir it pretty much constant. Now, you can add a smidge of butter. That will help with the foaming because it does get foamy. So, that's an option if you want to do it. Usually, I like to see what it's going to do, but it usually gets foamy. Alright, you can see, smidge of butter. Put it in here, start stirring it up. This will dissolve. Like I said, cook it a minute. That way it doesn't kill the pectin properties to it, so it will thicken up. Otherwise, you just got really sugary berry juice to drink. So, I'm just going to do this till it gets to boiling. And then we'll add sugar. Okay, you can see it's got a boil. It's got a rolling boil to it now. So, continue stirring constantly. Set the timer for 1 minute. When that's done, we add the sugar. And then you have to bring it back to a full rolling boil. The little floaty chunks you see in here, that's the butter getting melty. Hopefully it keeps this at bay with the foaming. But 1 minute on this. Time is up. So put the sugar in. Remember, it's pre-measured at 4 1/2 cups. It is a lot of sugar. And then you wait for it to start boiling again before you start the timer again. And when you do, it's another full rolling boil for 1 minute. It is important to make sure you do a constant stir and allow it to cook full time. Otherwise, you get kind of a gritty jelly with the sugar in it. So you gotta let it get all the way cooked up and melted. I mean, see how thickened up it is here. But it's gotta get cooked all the way and get the sugar all melted up. Okay, we're boiling, so set the timer for another 1 minute and stir constant. Okay, time is up. Turn it off, remove it from your heat, get ready to ladle into your jars. Okay, get the jars out of the oven. Done did that there. This is your jar lifter. This is the part that holds the jars. This is your handle here. It's plastic. It ain't grippy. It'll spin around. Don't use that to lift up your jars. So you work it like so. So pick up your jar. It'll fit right around it there and hold on to it really, really good. So that is your jar lifter. Here is your funnel. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a funnel. You don't want your jars to be sticky on top. You have to clean them. In order to do that, this makes it better at not making a mess and getting everything into the jar. So, funnel them. You don't have it, then you don't have it. You just got to clean up a little more. That's all. Now, let's talk about headspace. Getting a clean one back here, a cool one back here. Anyhow, you got to leave headspace. That's the amount of air that's at the top of the jar that allows the jar to seal. So with that, this rim line thing here is like a cheat sheet for us. that goes all the way around. So here you're like at an 1/8 of an inch head space. Scroll around, you know, you get your 1/4 inch, get halfway down it, you got your 1/2 inch head space, follow it all down. And when you get down and around this area here, between the two, that's about 1 inch of head space. I generally save about 1 inch in almost everything I do, but it's only like a 1/4 inch on the jelly. So it really just depends for me, but 1/2 inch is like what I go for with jelly generally. But we'll just see what I've got. Otherwise, let's start ladling. Okay, it's definitely gelling up real good. So no worries there. I'm doing these in pints because these are for our own personal use, and we're a large family, and this is a really well liked jelly. So pints it is. It's still a 5-minute water bath in a full rolling boil when I'm done. But you can see here on the headspace that I left in that jar back here, I generally try to stick with about that area. So I'm going to fill these up, and then we'll get to wiping them up and get them placed into the canner. That may need more water because it's been boiling forever. So we'll see, we'll see. Okay, it's done. So let's taste test it here. Pretty good. Yep. It's, if you've ever had it like a wine or a raspberry, you know how sweet it is, and then you got your blackberry. It's kind of a little more sour tart. This is kind of like the best of both worlds. It's sweet with a little tartness to it, which is what I like. So awesome. Which is also why we do pints. Anyhow, with that, it's time to wipe your rims. Remember, your jars are hot. Your jelly is hot. This is a sticky substance, so it's better if you dampen a towel, a paper towel or something, and you just wipe it all the way around it real good. All the way. Nothing sticky. Anything left on it will make it not seal. It'll let it not seal. So wipe it really good. That funnel helps a lot with keeping it clean. And that is really hot through my towel. Okay, now they're done. Got your bands and your lids. These are regular mouth lids, or flats as you call them. They're actually right here because I'm lazy and didn't put them up when I got done last time. Any brand. Some brands work better than others. They are not all created equally. So this is your rubber compound here. This will be what makes it seal. So just place your bands on your jars. Make sure they're good, not dinged up and missing any rubber or anything like that. And then you put your rings on. These are regular mouth jars. They get regular mouth lids and bands. Finger tight, just right. As I always say, I struggle with that. There you go. Get them on there. Okay, the tops are on. Take your jar lifter. Pick up your jar of jelly. You said here, it's got good hold on it. Take it to the water bath canner. Okay, so when you're canning, you can't have your jars set directly on the bottom of the pan. It will cause them to break, or it can cause them to break. It's not necessarily going to, but it totally can. It'll make them rattle around and clank and make a heck of a noise, and it can break them. So you need some kind of a rack, or use your lids and everything else. So this here comes with a rack because it's water bath. Put it in here. As you can see, I am not over on water. When you water bath, the water has to be over top the lid of the jar. So let me get some added. Okay, you can see the water is over top of the jars. Now I gotta wait for it to come back to a boil. Quickest way to boil it is put your lid on it. As soon as it starts at a full rolling boil, it's a 5-minute water bath, and then it's done. So now we just hurry up and wait. Okay, time is up. So we remove the jars. So reach back in with the jar lifter, pick it up. It'll have water on top. Just kind of shake it off so. Alright, and then set them out on the towel to cool. Leave space in between each one. That way they got adequate cooling space. Set them on a towel. That just kind of helps prevent shock, especially if you have a wet surface or it's colder. Anybody who's ever done it, you'll learn your lesson first time. You can't put hot glass on something that's wet or cold because it'll shatter it. So the towel just kind of helps prevent that from happening. Ain't required. I mean, it's sitting on a cutting board also. But anyhow, leave space in between it. Now all you gotta do is wait to hear the ping, and you know it's done. So that is canning wineberry jelly.